Viewer discretion is advised. Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today's video is on Bobby Mackey's. Located in Wilder, Kentucky, this is by far the most haunted of the local haunts. It has a long history and far too many stories connected to it to mention all of them here. There have been books written about it. It's been the subject of several TV shows, including Unsolved Mysteries, Ghost Hunters, and Ghost Adventures, to name a few. And you can count on the local news to do a story on it just about every Halloween. But how much of what you've heard is true, and how much is hype? Let's start at the beginning. I'm just going to give you the basics of the bar's history and the tales around it, as much of it isn't really known for sure, and what is out there varies depending on who you talk to. The site where Bobby Mackey's was originally a slaughterhouse, built sometime in the late 1840s and was shut down in the 1890s. Part of this slaughterhouse was a drain that led out to the Licking River, which is basically where the blood and other waste from the slaughtered animals was dumped. This drain is always referred to as a well, but no, it was used to discard waste. Supposedly with the slaughterhouse now abandoned, it became the gathering place for a group of local Satan worshippers. They would come to the empty building and perform their rituals, said to sometimes involve the sacrifice of animals, and some say small children, at the well. It's at this point in the story where we come to the murder of Pearl Bryan. Her death by decapitation has been widely covered and can be found in death all over the net, but I'll give you the abridged version here. Pearl was a young woman from a well-to-do family from Greencastle, Indiana, who became involved with a man named Scott Jackson, a dental student attending the Ohio College of Dental Surgery in Cincinnati. They were introduced by Pearl's cousin, William Wood, who was a friend of Jackson's. As sometimes happens, Pearl became pregnant by Scott, and arrangements were made by Scott and William to have Pearl go to Cincinnati for an abortion. Pearl was 5 months pregnant when she left on February 1st, 1896, telling her family she was going for a visit to Indianapolis. Instead, she traveled to Cincinnati to meet Scott and his roommate Alonzo Walling. It turns out, Scott himself planned to do the abortion. He first tried aborting the baby by giving Pearl cocaine. When this didn't work, he tried an actual abortion by using his dental tools. Having blundered that, and with Pearl now scared, injured, and bleeding, it seems Scott decided to get rid of her altogether. They took her over the bridge to a secluded area in Fort Thomas, Kentucky, about 2 miles from the Alexandria Turnpike, and there they decapitated her. It is believed she was still alive when they took her head. While her body was found there, her head never was, but it's said that Scott and Alonzo were members of the previously mentioned cult, and that they took her head and used it as some part of ritual at the well. Pearl's body was identified by her shoes, and after they knew who she was, they were able to link her back to Scott and Alonzo through her cousin William. Scott and Alonzo were arrested, tried, and found guilty. They were sentenced to death, but were offered the choice of that or life in prison in exchange for revealing the location of Pearl's head. They refused and were hung behind the courthouse in Newport, Kentucky on March 21st, 1897, which, by the way, was the last public hanging in Campbell County. These three, Pearl, Scott, and Alonzo, are said to be some of the spirits that haunt Bobby Mackey's. Moving on, the slaughterhouse was eventually torn down, and a roadhouse was built there. It became a speakeasy in the 20s and a popular place to gamble. There were allegedly several people killed there, but their bodies were dumped elsewhere as to prevent drawing attention to the legal drinking and gambling at the site. After Prohibition ended in 1933, the building was bought by E.A. Brady, better known as Buck. Buck turned the building into a tavern and casino called the Primrose. The Primrose did well for several years, until the local crime syndicate decided they wanted a piece of the action. After much pressure, including an attempted hit on Buck, he caved and sold out to the mob. It was said that when he left, he swore the place would never thrive again as a casino. Buck committed suicide in September 1965. After Brady sold out, the building reopened as another nightclub called the Latin Quarter. Several times during the early 1950s, the new owners of the bar were arrested on gambling charges. In 1955, Campbell County deputies broke into the building with sledgehammers and confiscated slot machines and gambling tables. Sounds like Buck's curse has some bite to it, and his is another of the spirits said to still reside there. It's during this time that the building gained what has to be its most famous ghost, Joanna. She is said to have been the daughter of the owner, and that she fell in love with a singer that worked there named Robert Randall. Joanna got pregnant and decided to run away with Robert, but her father found out about her plans and had Robert killed. Learning this, Joanna decided to kill her father and herself. She went to a room above the stage and wrote a suicide note love poem to Robert on the wall, then attempted to poison herself and her father. He survived, but Joanna did not. She was 5 months pregnant at the time. Now she and Robert are said to haunt the building. It's getting crowded in there. In the 1970s, the building was called the Hard Rock Cafe, no relation to the current chain of restaurants, but was shut down after some fatal shootings on the property. Which brings us to what is today, Bobby Mackey's Music World. Bobby and his wife Janet bought the place in 1978, and according to legend, that's when shit really started getting real. Again, the stories are too numerous to cover all of them. Feel free to add some in the comments section, but there's a few doozies. Janet is said to have been attacked by unseen forces there and refused to return. She was pregnant. Patrons report ghosts, headless ghosts, ghost dogs, being scratched, pushed. One filed a police report claiming to have had his ass kicked by a ghost in the men's room. Being followed home by ghosts. Jukebox playing even though it's not plugged in. Miscarriages caused by ghosts. The smell of roses in the building. Joanna is supposed to have worn rose-scented perfume. A room in the basement where evil faces can be seen on the walls, and on and on and on. But probably the biggest part of the story is a man called Carl Lawson. Carl worked for many years as the caretaker at Bobby Mackey's. He had an apartment over the bar, so he was pretty much always there. In fact, he spent a large part of his life at that building, having previously worked there when it was still the Primrose. Carl's story is Bobby Mackey's main claim to fame. Carl is the one who experienced most of the hauntings, knew all the past stories, and was even supposedly possessed at one point, leading to an exorcism. It's Carl's story that the book Hell's Gate is based on. During Carl's time there, he is said to have fought possession, talked to Joanna, and struggled against all the evil spirits that reside there. Thank you for watching today's video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. What paranormal or crime-related mystery would you like to see next? I hope you all have a good day.